morning, everyone. I'm Lamont Gilchrist. It is Monday. Got some clients around different places getting ready for bodybuilding shows. Everybody's getting ready into their contest prep. A couple people, a couple weeks out. Bodybuilders and people in general, when they're losing weight or dieting and get ready for shows, are kind of weird. I know I was, and I get like that when I get ready for shows. For you contest prep people, I usually take a test run like a week out for the show. I do my potassium loading, my water, my glycerol mix, sodium loading early in the week, then sodium, cutting off the sodium mid-week, just so that I can get the subcutaneous water out. I use a rice, glycerol kind of combo that I sip on the night and the day before to kind of get the subcutaneous water and get the fullness of the muscles as far as carving up with different carbs as I get to more higher glycemic carbs as I get closer to the show. The reason why I say I do a test run a week out is because usually most of the time you're going to overshoot it, especially if your first show, even if you've done shows before. A lot of times you overshoot it. You carb deplete too low, you try to get too much water out, and you become flat. You don't get any rise, no pop out your muscles. And usually that following week, after you ate, after you did some things, got some sodium back in, you feel out and you look your best. I'm going to tell you people something that is really true about bodybuilding or aesthetic shows that are subjective, is that they are trying to figure out who is the best. You can be the littlest person to be the best. You can be the biggest person and be the best. A lot of times big people do win the shows when it comes to guys and a bodybuilder and stuff like that, but that's not always true. I've seen middleweights, like heavyweights, lightweights win the overall. You have to understand, you're trying to put your best package on the stage to win the show. I always have a pro mentality, or I always have a real mentality that I'm going to talk about to my athletes later on that gives me a competitive edge against just about anybody that I go against. In a composition or a subjective show, they're looking for who's in the best condition, the best shape, present the package the best. I've seen people be 15, 20, 30 pounds lighter than heavyweights and make them look like they didn't condition or do anything. So it's all subjective. So go up there with your best package. I know there's weight classes and there's height classes and everything else, but you're probably going to do better in the long run as a competitor if you always just present the best package that you have that day at the show. Don't try to worry about how much you weigh and all the other stuff, because it really doesn't. At the end of the day, if you want to be a guest, like I tell my athletes, who cares if you're the best in your high school if you're not the best in the state? Who cares if you're the best in the state if you're not one of the best in the world at your position? But you know, if you want to be the best, you have to go through everybody. You have to go through all these people. So don't limit yourself and don't be afraid of people and size. Which brings me to my next point. For you guys, stop thinking size equals power. In the Lion Kingdom, it is right, the males are usually dominant because they are usually the bigger size and weigh more, but they have more muscle mass. Just because you're bigger doesn't necessarily mean that you have more muscle mass. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should be stronger or that you're more dominant. In the human world, bigger can equate to being fatter. In the animal world, there's not too many fat animals or fat lions out there because they run and they have to be fishing and they have to catch their food, and fat lions die. But in the human world, fat people or big people or people who are bulky or whatever, things that's the equivalent of being greater or more dominant. I'm going to give you a simple math equation or body dynamics equation that I use. Why I'm not intimidated by most people, and their size really is not really a factor when it comes to especially athletic performance or even power, overall raw strength. If I take a 300-pound man, and I'm right around 190 something, 200, that's where I stay at, and this 300-pound man is going against me, and he appears to be bigger than me. I look at this 300-pound man, and he is 50% body fat. At 50% body fat, that 300-pound man is littler than me. He is not more powerful than me. He has more width, more size, and more overall weight. But 50% of that weight is dead weight. It's fat. It's non-functional weight. It's a hindrance for him. It's a leverage. If I let him lean on me or fall on me, it could be a weapon. But overall raw strength, muscle fibers per muscle fibers, muscle density per muscle density, I outweigh him by dang near, most of the times, almost 50 pounds. So I'm 50 pounds heavier. That's 50 more pounds of force that I can use. If you athletes, you young athletes who look at these guys or look at people in your school, or you guys in general who walk around here and think walking out with air lats and taking up more room makes you more dominant, makes you look good, or makes you more efficient, or make you stronger. That is not true. It boils down to the more efficient human being, like the more efficient and the more powerful lion, is the one with the most muscle mass. And that works in reverse. For these women who are really skinny, and people think, oh, skinny is beautiful. If you are 50% body fat, you are unhealthy. You are really fat. Whether you're skinny, whatever it looks like you are, and a woman weighs you by 30, 50, 40 more pounds, but has a leaner body than you, she is a more efficient person than you. She's a better physique, a better physical specimen, and has a better survival rate, a higher survival rate, and a health rate that is going to be better than yours, along with a metabolism. It holds true in the animal kingdom. Hyenas, women, the female hyenas are bigger, more muscle size, so they're usually more dominant. Lions, the same way, birds or animals or gorillas or apes, that's because they have more muscle tissue. It's not just because they're big, because animals, once again, unless they're in captivity, go through cycles where they get big and small depending on what the food supply is there for everyone. So it's the genetic makeup and the growth size of muscle that is the most effective part of the human anatomy. That's why when you see sports athletes or professional athletes, they look nice, don't get me wrong. But look on TV at the football players and guys of that nature. None of them have great, huge, big physiques, big arms, and all this other stuff. Like you might see with bodybuilders who take steroids or other things and stuff like that. Because their whole purpose is not just for girth and width and bigness and aesthetics and looking. They are for performance. So they have better performing muscle parts, ligaments, tendons, movement, range of motions than most people who are just aesthetically big. And bodybuilders are usually just big. In the off season, they get big and huge, and then they take drugs to shrink down, to basically eat up their body and this offset of growth, especially drug-induced bodybuilders, that is pretty much unhealthy. They use all kinds of drug enhancers, and when you see them after their career is over, they look terrible because they grow outside of their genetics and they cause these different growth factors, just like the foods and stuff is causing in the human population at this particular point. That's why when you see a family, a pride, just like in the animal kingdom that live together, they're usually all fat. The dog is fat, the mama's fat, the kids is fat, because they all eat the same thing and they feed into the same environment, live in the same type of environment. I just wanted to make that clarification because guys always ask me, or I always get questions about, oh, my arms are this inches, or I'm this inch, and I'm this big, I weigh 290, or I weigh 270, or I'm 250. Okay, you 250 at 50% body fat. You fat. You really only weigh 140 something pounds. For real, when it comes to muscle, Maybe because of bone density, you take that and you really are a naughty, efficient human being. So don't be tricked and don't be bamboozled. Do your pre-contest prep. Try your pre-contest prep to time it up for this Saturday for my people that are competing next Saturday. And good luck to all the people out there getting ready. And don't have these mental makeup or these delusions in your head about size and mass and skinny and size and all these particular things. They mean absolutely nothing. It's muscle, efficiency, metabolism, genetics that is key to all athletics and to looking good and longevity with life. Thanks.